Every day, we walk on roads that feel perfectly solid. We live in houses that seem unshakable, built to stand for decades. We trust the ground beneath our feet, as if it's the most stable thing in our entire lives. But the terrifying truth is this: everything can disappear in just a matter of seconds. No warning, no visible sign, just a sound like the earth letting out a deep, heavy sigh. And then, the ground opens up, swallowing everything above it. Sinkholes are appearing suddenly all around the world, on highways, beneath quiet neighborhoods, in farmlands, and even in the hearts of major cities. Some are wide enough to consume entire buildings. Some are so deep that sunlight can barely reach the bottom. And the part that chills scientists the most is this: the collapse you see is only the final moment of a disaster that has been quietly unfolding for years, even centuries underground. So what exactly is happening beneath where we stand? What force can make solid land simply disintegrate? And more importantly, can we do anything to stop it? Join me as we go deeper, far below the surface, into the darkness where light cannot reach, to uncover the hidden secrets carved into the earth and learn why sinkholes are suddenly appearing all across our planet. Sinkholes are one of the most mysterious and frightening natural phenomena on Earth. They appear without warning, swallowing entire roads, houses, cars, and in rare cases, entire neighborhoods. What terrifies people the most isn't just the destruction they cause, but the speed at which they occur. One moment, the ground looks solid and safe. The next moment, it collapses into a deep, yawning hole that seems to open straight into the underworld. But behind this sudden collapse lies a long, hidden process, one that unfolds quietly beneath our feet for years, decades, or even centuries before the first crack appears on the surface. To understand why sinkholes form so suddenly, we need to descend beneath the ground and explore the invisible forces constantly reshaping the earth. The majority of sinkholes around the world are linked to the dissolution of limestone, a type of rock that forms a large portion of Earth's crust in many regions. Limestone has a unique property. It dissolves slowly when exposed to slightly acidic water. Rainwater absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the soil, creating a weak carbonic acid solution. When this acidic water seeps underground and encounters limestone, it begins to carve narrow channels, small holes, and eventually large underground cavities. Over long periods of time, these small channels expand and merge together, forming huge hollow chambers known as karst caves. These hidden voids can be enormous, sometimes wide enough to fit an entire building inside, yet they remain completely invisible from the surface. Above them lies only a relatively thin layer of soil, rock, and asphalt materials that look solid but are actually suspended over empty space. For years, this fragile layer manages to hold itself together. But as erosion continues, the support underneath weakens. All it takes is a trigger, a heavy rainstorm, a sudden change in groundwater flow, or even a small vibration from traffic for the entire structure to collapse, creating a sinkhole. This is precisely why sinkholes often appear after prolonged or intense rainfall. Rainwater rushes into pre-existing cavities, adding weight to the already weakened layer above. The saturated soil loses strength, the internal pressure changes, and eventually, gravity does the rest. A crack forms, the crack spreads, and then, in just a few seconds, the ground falls inward, swallowing everything on the surface. But limestone is not the only culprit. Human activity also plays a major role in the increasing number of sinkholes worldwide. One of the most common man-made causes is the excessive extraction of groundwater. Cities and agricultural regions often pump millions of cubic meters of water from underground aquifers every month. Under natural conditions, groundwater acts like a support system, helping maintain the stability of the soil and rock above it. When too much water is removed, the empty spaces collapse under the weight of the ground. The result? A sudden sinkhole appearing in the middle of a residential street or a farm field. Leaking underground pipes can also trigger sinkholes. In many cities, drainage systems, water pipes, and sewage lines have been in operation for decades. When these pipes crack or burst, water leaks out and gradually washes away the surrounding soil, creating a hidden cavity. Over time, the cavity grows larger and larger until it can no longer support the surface above. Often, all it takes is a passing vehicle or a slight shift in the ground for the entire roadway to collapse. Some sinkholes have even more dramatic origins. In areas with a volcanic past, the ground may contain ancient lava tubes, tunnels formed by flowing molten lava thousands of years ago. When the lava drained away, long, empty conduits were left behind. These conduits can remain stable for centuries, but over time, their ceilings thin and weaken. If buildings, roads, or heavy infrastructure are constructed above them, the added weight can cause the ground to collapse into the old lava tube, creating a massive sinkhole that seems to appear out of nowhere. This leads to an important question. If sinkholes form silently for so long, is it possible to predict them before they occur? The answer is yes, at least to some extent. Geologists use technologies such as ground-penetrating radar to scan the subsurface for low-density zones or cavities. These scans reveal areas where the earth is hollow or unstable, long before a collapse happens. Some countries also use satellite data to detect slow, millimeter-scale ground subsidence, an early warning sign that a sinkhole may be forming. However, scanning an entire city or region is extremely difficult and expensive. Ground conditions change constantly, and some sinkholes form faster than existing technology can detect. That is why many collapses still occur suddenly and without visible warning. In some rare cases, there are small signs that residents can observe: circular cracks forming around houses, pavement that begins to dip in one direction, fences or trees tilting slightly, or unusual drainage patterns where water disappears into the soil faster than normal. In other cases, people report hearing faint rumbling or hollow sounds beneath the ground. But these clues are inconsistent and often go unnoticed until it's too late. What makes sinkholes even more unpredictable is that they do not discriminate. They affect wealthy cities and poor villages alike. They appear in the United States, China, Italy, Guatemala, Mexico, Vietnam, and countless other countries. Wherever the geology is fragile, where limestone exists, where water flows underground, or where human activity alters the balance of the earth, sinkholes can form. One of the most infamous sinkholes appeared in Guatemala City in 2010. A nearly perfect circular hole, 60 meters deep, opened in the middle of a busy intersection and swallowed an entire 3-story building. Images of the collapse spread across the world, and many people assumed it was fake or computer-generated. But it was entirely real, a reminder of how powerful and unpredictable geological forces can be. In some regions, sinkholes are so common that they appear in chains. When the ground collapses in one location, the shockwave of shifting soil can destabilize nearby areas, causing secondary collapses. This domino effect has been observed in parts of China, Mexico, and the United States, where entire neighborhoods have had to evacuate due to multiple sinkholes appearing within days or weeks of each other. Yet as terrifying as they are, sinkholes carry an important message. The earth beneath us is not static. It is constantly evolving, shaped by water, pressure, chemistry, and time. The ground we walk on may feel solid, but it is part of a dynamic system filled with hidden structures and ongoing processes. Today, scientists are working on better ways to identify and monitor sinkhole-prone regions. New technologies include seismic sensors, satellite-based deformation mapping, high-resolution subsurface imaging, and AI algorithms that analyze long-term patterns in soil movement and water flow. While we may never be able to prevent sinkholes entirely, we can reduce the danger they pose and avoid building critical infrastructure on unstable land. Ultimately, sinkholes remind us that nature still holds many secrets. They are the result of slow, invisible processes that unfold for decades before finally revealing themselves in a dramatic collapse. Understanding them helps us build safer cities, better manage our resources, and respect the complexity of the planet we live on. Sinkholes seem sudden and violent, but they are the final stage of a quiet, relentless reshaping of the Earth. A reshaping that continues every day, beneath our feet, whether we notice it or not.